Games recapped here. Today we are going to look at an action, horror, mystery game from 2007, called Bioshock. Take care and watch out. Jack, a passenger on a commercial aircraft flying over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, reads a letter attached to a gift from home that begins with "Dear Jack, would you kindly not open until..." The plane mysteriously begins crashing, and Jack awakens from an apparent blackout to find himself underwater. He is surrounded by sinking debris and luggage from the crash. As Jack is evidently the plane crash's lone survivor, he swims for the only structure in sight, a lighthouse shining brightly among the dark night sky and ocean. It serves as the above-surface entry point into Rapture, a grand underwater metropolis. After Jack enters the lighthouse, he goes into a bathysphere, and takes the underwater elevator down. All of a sudden, the city of Rapture is revealed. The history of Rapture is told through a pre-recorded film narrative by Andrew Ryan, the city's founder. Rapture is intended to be a haven for scientific research and a place for humanity to flourish, hidden away from the governments of the world. During his descent, Jack overhears a radio conversation in which Atlas orders one of his men, Johnny, to meet the arriving bathysphere. After the bathysphere docks in the city's welcome center, Johnny is killed by one of Rapture's insane, deformed, and violent citizens called splicers. Atlas comes in over a shortwave radio which Jack picks up and informs him that he wants to keep him alive. As Jack moves to safety, Atlas reveals that he has been cut off from his family by splicers. Atlas believes that Jack is his only hope in reuniting himself with his wife and son, and tells Jack to find his way into Neptune's bounty, where his family is secretly waiting in a submarine. Jack explores Rapture with the guidance of Atlas over the radio, until he discovers a strange vending machine containing hypodermic needles. Jack injects himself with one, unknowingly rewriting his genetic code. He topples over some railings with the pain, electricity coming out of his hands, falling and blacking out once again. He wakes, just to find a huge man in a diver's suit and a strange-looking little girl with a huge hypodermic needle standing over him. They pass Jack by, saying he'll be an angel soon. Atlas tells Jack to kindly get up and continues on through the city, learning about the various traps, enemies, resources, and his new electric ability, until he is discovered and contacted by Andrew Ryan, the city's creator. Ryan believes that Jack is either a KGB or CIA agent, and sends his pheromone-controlled splicers after him. The entrance to Neptune's bounty is sealed off by a security alert, and Atlas urges Jack to take an alternative route through the medical pavilion. Jack escapes to the medical pavilion, and continues to learn more about Rapture and its inhabitants. Throughout his journey, Jack picks up audio diaries and hears splicers' conversations that reveal small pieces of the plot and the city's backstory. Something called Adam seemed to destroy the city from within, taking over its inhabitants. Jack also experiences brief moments of psychic hallucinations, in which he can see ghostly figures walking about, talking, and interacting with each other, a side effect of the earlier injection. Jack learns of Dr. J.S. Steinman, a plastic surgeon who unlocked Adam's cosmetic potential, has lost his sense of reality due to oversplicing, becoming murderously insane in his pursuit of enforcing cosmetic perfection at any cost. In order for Jack to proceed, Steinman must be killed, as he has the key to override the security lockdown, which will enable Jack access to the bathysphere to Neptune's bounty where Atlas's family awaits. After Steinman is killed and his key is taken, Jack encounters a Big Daddy being killed and a splicer cornering a little girl, wanting her Adam. Before Jack can intervene, Dr. Bridget Tenenbaum bursts upon the scene, and dispatches the splicer with her pistol. Seeing that Jack is not a crazed splicer, Tenenbaum begs Jack to have mercy on the little sisters, but Atlas objects, telling Jack that he needs Adam in order to survive in Rapture because Adam powers Jack's newfound abilities. Atlas says that the sisters are no longer human girls, but monsters. The clear choice is to kill them to obtain all of their Adam. Adam is excreted by unique sea slugs found near Rapture. The Adam-producing sea slugs did not naturally produce a large enough quantity for serious research and commercial exploitation. Dr. Bridget Tenenbaum developed a procedure whereby a sea slug was implanted in a human host's stomach, and a symbiotic interaction between host and slug yielded up to 30 times the quantity of usable Adam. Young girls, nicknamed Little Sisters following the implantation process, were found to be the only viable hosts. Although Tenenbaum hoped to be able to keep the children in a vegetative state, it was found they had to be fully functional to produce the Adam. They still maintained many of the ordinary characteristics of small children, laughing, playing, smiling, and singing. Tenenbaum once again advises, saying that if Jack must have Adam, there is an alternative choice to killing the girls, using a plasmid of her own making that will safely remove the atom. This will spare the girl's life, but only yield half the amount of atom she has. As further incentive, Tenenbaum offers future gifts that will compensate Jack for the atom he loses in saving the girls. Caught between the opposing counsel of Atlas and Tenenbaum, Jack is faced with the choice of rescuing or harvesting the little sisters. He then proceeds to Neptune's bounty. Jack arrives at Neptune's bounty, Rapture's main dock and fishery. Atlas tells Jack to make his way down to Fontaine Fisheries, where he meets Peach Wilkins. Even with the word of Atlas, the paranoid Wilkins refuses Jack passage to the fisheries, believing him to be an agent of Frank Fontaine, a shady gangland boss, sent to kill him for his disloyalty. Wilkins eventually agrees to allow Jack passage based on one condition: Jack must bring him photos of splicers taken with a special biological research camera. As Jack explores Neptune's bounty and takes the required photos, he learns through audio recordings about the discovery of Atom, how Frank Fontaine founded a smuggling ring which funded Atom research, how Fontaine's dominance over the Atom market changed Rapture's social structure, and how Andrew Ryan tried to bust the smuggling ring. Jack returns with the photos, and Wilkins allows him access to the fisheries. Once Jack enters, Wilkins betrays and attacks him. After killing Wilkins, Jack discovers the hidden pathway to the smuggler's hideout, where Atlas's family are locked in a submarine. Jack arrives at the control room overlooking the dock with the submarine, activating a switch that allows Atlas to enter the hideout. As Atlas approaches the submarine, Ryan's splicers begin swarming the dock. Atlas fights off the splicers long enough to escape, but Ryan triggers explosives that destroy the submarine with Atlas' family inside. A grieving, vengeful Atlas asks Jack to kindly help him kill Ryan.
We'll find the bastard. We'll find him and we'll tear his heart out.
Jack makes his way through a secret smuggling passage to Arcadia, the supplier of the city's oxygen. As Jack heads toward the district's bathysphere to exit the area, Ryan releases a toxic chemical into the air. All vegetation in the area is killed, an automatic security lockdown is initiated, and all of Arcadia's doors are closed and sealed to conserve the remaining oxygen. Jack enters Arcadia's research laboratories where he meets Professor Julie Langford, the scientist who helped Ryan create the vegetation in Arcadia. Atlas and Langford are both equally dismayed at this stunning turn of events. Without Arcadia's plants and trees, Rapture will only have a limited supply of oxygen. Langford tells Jack that there is only one option available to reverse the damage done, but she is killed by Ryan, who releases a poisonous gas into her office. From her audio recordings, Jack learns the required information for the creation of the Lazarus vector, which is a chemical designed to revive dead plant life. Throughout Arcadia and the farmer's market, Jack locates the remaining necessary components to invent the Lazarus vector and releases it into the air. With the source of oxygen restored and the sealed doors now open, Jack has access to the bathysphere. Jack then arrives in Fort Frolic, Rapture's central entertainment complex. Jack travels to the next bathysphere, where he is suddenly denied access. Atlas's voice on the shortwave radio fades out, and is replaced by the voice of Rapture's most beloved artist, the mad composer, Sander Cohen. Cohen remarks that he has blocked all radio transmissions from Atlas and Ryan, and invites Jack into Fort Frolic's atrium area. Cohen then charges Jack with the task of helping him create his masterpiece, which involves Jack killing and taking photos of 4 of Cohen's former disciples. Jack returns with the required photos, and completes Cohen's task. Cohen then appears in person to appreciate his masterpiece firsthand, and congratulates Jack by telling him that the way to Ryan is clear. Atlas comes in over the radio and implores Jack to leave using the bathysphere, so he can finally deal with Ryan. Arriving at Rapture's power production facility, Atlas informs Jack that Ryan has the key of Rapture. If Jack can get his hands on that, they can finally leave the city. Jack makes his way to the entrance to Ryan's office, only to find that it is sealed shut by an electromagnetic defense mechanism. He enters the workshops, where he learns of a plot to dismantle Ryan's defense and assassinate him. Jack also learns of an electromagnetic pulse bomb that was being assembled to destroy Ryan's defenses. Unfortunately, the construction of the EMP bomb was stopped mid-process, as the maker was killed before it could be completed. Jack obtains the remaining components, builds the EMP bomb and detonates it, allowing him to enter Ryan's office. Upon entering Rapture Central Control, Ryan makes one final announcement to Jack. Ryan then activates Rapture's self-destruct mechanism, sending Atlas into a panic. With the urging of Atlas, Jack quickly moves to the room just outside of Ryan's office. There, he finds a number of newspaper clippings, notes, and photos attached to a wall and table, with the words "Would you kindly" written in red over them. Jack also finds audio recordings and pictures of familiar people, including various photographs of himself. Upon examination, it is revealed that Jack is the illegitimate son of Andrew Ryan and Jasmine Jolene, an exotic dancer. Jolene sold him as an embryo to Fontaine Futuristics, where he was genetically engineered and enhanced by Brigid Tenenbaum, and conditioned to respond to the activation phrase "Would you kindly," which Atlas has repeatedly used throughout the game whenever tasking Jack with something. Jack is obviously confused. Jack at last moves into the foyer of Ryan's office, only to find him casually playing golf behind a glass window. Ryan proceeds to explain Jack of his true origins and real purpose as that of an assassin, that his family and home never existed in the first place, and that he was the one who hijacked and crash-landed the plane near the lighthouse.
You think you have memories. A farm, a family, an airplane, a crash, and then this place. Was there really a family? Did that airplane crash? Or was it hijacked? Forced down?
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly? Stand, would you kindly? Run! Stop! Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys. Kill! A man chooses. A slave obeys.
Having killed Ryan, Jack takes the key to disable the self-destruct process, when Atlas reveals himself as Frank Fontaine. He tells Jack of his true intentions of ruling over Rapture, having used Jack as his brainwashed pawn, with the phrase, "Would you kindly?" Jack awakens in Tenenbaum's safe house under Olympus Heights, Rapture's luxury living and retail establishment. It is where the rescued little sisters stay in safety, and where Brigid Tenenbaum resides. Tenenbaum informs Jack that she has removed some of the mental conditioning that allowed Frank Fontaine to control him. It is also revealed that Frank Fontaine created the Little Sisters orphanage in Apollo Square and other locations as a front to exploit the children as his supply of hosts for Atom production. However, she says that Fontaine still has some control over him, and that Jack should explore Sushang's apartment in the Mercury Suites complex, since it was the doctor who designed his mind. After leaving Tenenbaum's hideout, Jack is contacted by Fontaine. Seeing that he no longer responds to the "Would you kindly" command phrase, Fontaine uses another phrase to which Jack is conditioned to respond to. After he utters code yellow, Fontaine sends Jack's heart on a slow and painful course of eventually stopping. Jack finds his way to Sushang's apartment, where he discovers that there is an antidote to his genetic conditioning, but there is no trace of the antidote itself. Jack, With Tenenbaum's help, finds the first part when he raids Fontaine's apartment, and the second part in Sushang's clinic. Jack is now free from Fontaine's control, and heads to Point Prometheus to confront the crime boss. Upon Jack surfacing in Point Prometheus, the location where Big Daddies and Little Sisters are made, he sights Fontaine just outside his bathysphere. Fontaine taunts Jack and tries to impede his progress as he follows, all the while showing off his remarkable strength from splicing. Fontaine retreats to his lair atop Rapture's highest building while sealing the access door and destroying the switch. Tenenbaum tells Jack that the only way he can get access to the proving grounds and reach Fontaine is to have a little sister go through the small passage at the bottom of all the doors, and open them from the other side. Tenenbaum then explains that the only way for the little sisters to trust and follow Jack is if they think he is a Big Daddy. With Tenenbaum's guidance, Jack finds and equips himself with a Big Daddy suit, has his voice surgically altered, and has himself doused in pheromones to fool the little sisters into thinking that he is a Big Daddy. Jack makes his way to the proving grounds, and now has to escort a little sister while she goes through the training course for atom gathering. Jack arrives at the elevator to the room where Fontaine resides, and takes the little sister's atom extraction needle, which according to Tenenbaum using it is the only way to defeat Fontaine. As the elevator carries Jack toward his final destination, Frank Fontaine recounts their short history. When Jack emerges from the elevator, he finds Fontaine strapped to a metal device with several large tubes of atom pulsing straight into his body, no longer recognizably human. He is now roughly twice the height of a normal human being and possesses fiery, icy, and electric skin, as well as many deadly plasmid attacks. Jack battles Fontaine, attacking and damaging him constantly, forcing Fontaine to repeatedly teleport back to his atom injection device for stronger splicing. As Fontaine splices, Jack repeatedly drains his atom by injecting him with the extraction needle. Fontaine beats Jack to the ground and prepares to finish him off. Fortunately, he is weakened from the loss of so much atom, allowing little sisters emerging from their vents to swarm him. The girls pounce upon Fontaine, repeatedly stabbing him with their needles, eventually killing him. Depending on the player's actions toward the little sisters, there are 3 possible endings to Bioshock, defining Jack's actions regarding the little sisters and the fate of Rapture. If during the game the player killed multiple little sisters, Tenenbaum states that Jack has succumbed to his lust for atom and snatches the nearest little sister when Fontaine is dead. Tenenbaum begins a monologue in which she discusses how disgusted she is with Jack for his cruelty, implying that he killed the little sisters. At the same time, a cutscene begins in which a naval submarine surveying the downed plane's crash site is surrounded by bathysphere pods from below. The sailors on the submarine's deck gawk as the dozens of bathyspheres pop open and splicers jump out. The splicers slaughter the submarine crew, and the camera shows what appears to be a nuclear warhead on board before the game ends. If the player chose to both save and harvest several little sisters, this ending will be the same as the evil ending, but Tenenbaum's narration is in a sad, disappointed tone as opposed to an angry one. If during the game the player rescued all of the little sisters, a cutscene plays in which Jack is offered control of Rapture by use of Fontaine's genetic key, but declines. Instead, he takes 5 little sisters to the surface and raises them, allowing them to have full, normal lives. When Jack eventually dies of old age, the now fully grown girls comfort him at his bedside, becoming the family Jack never had.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe for more. Maybe you can suggest some other games we should cover down below. Thanks again.